So the last time any state in the United States has moved to eliminate its income tax was 1980, 45 years ago, when Alaska did it. That was the same year Ronald Reagan was elected president. But that could soon change. Two southern states now taking steps to get rid of income tax on salaries and wages.
Mississippi and Kentucky have already recently implemented laws that could lead to elimination of each state's income tax. A 2022 Kentucky law reduced the state's income tax rate and set a series of revenue-based incentives that could gradually lower the tax to zero. The Kentucky General Assembly must approve each additional decrease in the tax rate. Joining us now with an update is Russell Coleman, the Kentucky Attorney General. AG, welcome to National Report, and thanks for coming on today. If you could walk us through what's going on in Kentucky when it comes to eliminating income tax, or at least getting closer to do so.
Good morning, Sean and Emma, and thank you to Newsmax for demonstrating that not all news takes place in Washington, D.C. There is great news taking place in states like Kentucky and Mississippi. As you said, it's been 4.5 decades since a state reduced its income tax to zero. Our General Assembly, our legislature, is responsibly going in that direction. They are using good conservative policy, as we know tax reduction is, and we are slowly and wisely, I think incrementally, and I say that because we want to be careful about this, based upon triggers, making sure that we have sufficient rainy day fund, being good stewards of taxpayer dollars. We are reducing our income tax. Ultimately, Kentucky will to zero.
Yeah, and speaking to that, your state's Governor Andy Beshear, a Democrat, recently signing a law decreasing the income tax in Kentucky to 3.5%. And when he signed it, he said it's going to help families in your state continue to afford to live there. We have a soundbite I'd like to play. Here's that.
So today, I'm going to sign a reduction to our state income tax to make sure that we put more money in your pocket while things cost too much. This has been supported by Republicans. It's been supported by Democrats. In the end, I support it because it's going to help you. I will always do what's best for our families. That's my job.
And that is relief. I mean, this has been really tough on American families for quite some time, and I'm sure speaking specifically there for Kentucky, it's been difficult battling inflation, just everyday items, going to a restaurant, grocery stores, maybe wanting to take that vacation. Does the governor appear, while he's lowering it, does he appear to be open to eliminating the income tax in Kentucky altogether? What's your read there?
I chuckle a bit, Sean, when you show that clip, because the governor was against it before he was for it. So the governor has vetoed the original legislation that started this process. The governor vetoed it. Then he allowed it to pass into law without his signature, and ultimately he's jumping on board, thankfully, with our General Assembly. They make policy in this Commonwealth. That's the way our system is set up. We have supermajority Republicans in our legislature, and they're enacting good policy like this. As you said, this is good conservative policy. You create jobs. You create an environment, and let's be frank, we abut Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee has a booming economy. We look a bit south to where there's phenomenal economic opportunity. We're mirroring that. We're creating opportunity, job creation here north of the border in Kentucky. We're open for business. But just want to emphasize, it's not all about tax reduction. We also, as Attorney General, my job is to ensure that Kentucky is a safe place to live, in addition to a place where there's economic opportunity. We're tackling violence in places like Louisville, where I sit now doing some creative things to tackle gang violence, and we're going after our drug overdose rate by a new statewide prevention effort that's not been done in any state. So These are just examples of how we're collaborating here in this Commonwealth to create an environment where you want to raise your family. We want folks to flourish. That's what we're doing here, driven initially, as you raised, driven by lowering incrementally, wisely, and a way of being a good steward, lowering our tax policy, our income rate.
Of course. And if you're a fan of the Kentucky Derby, what a nice perk also to be in the state for it. But realistically, AG, you know, if people want to move, they've got to have a house. Perhaps it's got to be an affordable home to live in. You want your schools to be good. You want your communities to be safe. Is Kentucky prepared to provide all of that to potential new residents?
Well, it is a three-legged stool. You want an environment where your dollars go as far as possible. You want, ideally, an environment where you have 0% income tax. We're working towards that here in the Commonwealth. You want a safe environment, which we are here in Kentucky. Louisville has some challenges as our Commonwealth's largest city. We're working collaboratively to tackle those. Louisville's a place where you have ours. I'm proudly a conservative Republican attorney general working with the mayor of this city and our prosecutor in this city who view the world through a little different lens. But we're working together to tackle violent crime. Out in the rural areas of Kentucky where counties have been gutted, and when President Trump talks about carnage, go to counties across the southeastern United States, go to the Midwest, and we've had some real challenge in losing empty seats at kitchen tables through the drug crisis. We're tackling that in a collaborative way to prevent and then to treat those that have that challenge. We're working collaboratively. You want to live in an environment where government works, where we tear down silos. That's what's happening in Kentucky. So we're open for business. This is a phenomenal place to raise a family, again, driven initially by great tax policy coming out of our General Assembly, solid leadership.
Yeah, and it's great that you point to, obviously, crime, et cetera, and just how big that is. And obviously, Interstate 75 running through the state there and up to Ohio as well. We do appreciate that so much, AG. It's good to see you. Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman, thank you for that.
I'm grateful.